Hey folks, it's Coco One Love here. We're talking about a serious topic here. I even got some stuff written down. No more stimulants, ladies and gentlemen. No more stimulants. We're already stimulated and overstressed as it is. Our body has to put up with a lot, and part of our body system is a hormonal balance. Everything is kind of takes place as a chemical reaction. And our endocrine system kind of works as a unit to keep everything kind of functioning the right way. But more importantly, we have two little glands on top of our kidneys called adrenal glands. And these adrenal glands are responsible for stress response, for stimulus response. Basically, they're the fight or flight gland. And so basically, with all this stimulus that we have throughout the day and all this stress, they're really getting worked hard. Some of our stresses that we have, of course, I just want to kind of note these for you guys. So we have sensory stress, and that might be visual from light, from TV, from computer, from driving. We also have sound and audio stress. Beyond that, we have social stress. We have mental stress. We have emotional stress. We have environmental stress, like pollutants in the air, toxins in the air, electromagnetic fields from our cell phones and our Wi-Fi connections. Also, food stress. We have toxins in our foods like preservatives, pesticides, herbicides, hormones, antibiotics. We eat inflammatory foods, things that we're allergic to, and that's something that we have to kind of pay attention to, as well as picking the right kinds of foods. So ends up being a digestive stress. And of course, we have physical stress, our daily activities, and exercise is included in that. Yes, exercise is a stress that we have to respond to and recover to so that we can get stronger and more conditioned, right? And so on top of all those stresses, most of you guys end up dousing yourself with more caffeine. And so our body's already stimulated, our body's already stressed, and caffeine is nothing more than another stimulant. And so that puts our body at more stress, it overstimulates our adrenal glands, and it just kind of puts us in a state of constant rush and constant activity, and it just never allows our body to kind of settle down and start the recovery process. Because basically there's two things. It's either we're in the periphery of our body and we're in the fight or flight, that's where the blood is pumping, or we're inside and kind of more the core of our body in our immune system, and that's when we actually recover and rest, and that's when we grow, when we get stronger and we get healthier. It's actually the rest side, the recovery side. And so a lot of you guys end up looking at energy the wrong way. When you want energy, you need to start seeing that energy needs to come from nutrition, not from stimulation. Okay? So we need to kind of backtrack and see how are we recovering from all of these stresses? What are we doing that's actually nourishing our body and allowing us to kind of recover the right way? So going back to the caffeine, you guys are dousing yourselves with too much coffee, you're drinking energy drinks, all those really, really bad pre-workouts you guys are taking before your workouts and everywhere in between because you're liking the rush. And some of you are taking these diet pills that have different kinds of stimulants, including caffeine, but other kinds of stimulants that's just going to make your body kind of get into that same state of just overworked adrenal glands, overworked a body function, and cortisol levels are elevated. So what caffeine actually does is caffeine is a diuretic. So what diuretics do, they actually flush fluids out of your body, and it actually ends up dehydrating you. So with the fluid flush, what else is being flushed is electrolytes that help keep you hydrated, other minerals and micronutrients that actually nourish and stabilize kind of the cell function, your function at a cellular level. And so before that, we're already at a nutritional deficit alone, okay? Most of you guys, aren't eating enough. A lot of you guys aren't eating the right things. And then to top that all off, our food sources are already at a lack in nutrients. because of our overfarmed lands and our mineral depleted soils and all this industrialized cultivation methods that we have that kind of rob us out of the true nutrients that we need to get from our foods. So these foods are just being mass produced, and we're getting minerally depleted foods. Even if we're talking about vegetables here, a lot of our vegetables are minerally depleted, so we're not getting the right types of nutrients that we need for our body to fully recover and fully get nourished. So what ends up happening is that we're getting calories in, but we're getting an insufficient amount of nutrients from that. And so it spurs the overfed and undernourished phenomenon that we see. Man, I'm always hungry. Man, I need to get energy. What's going on? Okay, you're not picking the right foods. You still feel like you're eating a lot, but the foods that you're choosing don't have sufficient nutrition in them, so you're putting calories in and you're gaining weight. Your adrenal glands are fatigued, and your cortisol levels are elevated, and so therefore we're constantly in this fight or flight mode. We're never actually recovering, and it's in the recovery state that we actually burn fat, build lean muscle tissue, and preserve and develop a very healthy body. So we're mixing all that stuff in. We're overstressed, we're overworked, and what ends up happening is that we get into this state that's called adrenal fatigue. And it's complete burnout. And a lot of you guys are facing this and you're not understanding what's going on. But I'll tell you one thing, is that adrenal fatigue is probably the most common underlying cause of other diseases. So it's kind of the beginning, the fertile ground for the development of other diseases. And we're just going to say other diseases. I'm not going to go into specifics. So we really need to attack this, because what ends up happening is with adrenal fatigue, we have elevated cortisol levels, like I was just saying. And from anything that you're stimulated by too much becomes a stress, and your body responds to that as a stress, and your cortisol levels are spiked. So what ends up happening is when we see cortisol levels spike, our immune system is suppressed, inflammation increases, we're in a catabolic state. Catabolic state means that our body tissues are degenerating, and basically all the healthy tissues, all the muscle tissues that actually help you are being broken down, and we're retaining the fat in our bodies, and on top of that we're accumulating fat, because cortisol actually accumulates fat, because fat is the most condensed form, dense form of energy source that's available for the body. And what ends up happening is you see this little pouch, this gut fat, okay? And we also end up craving sugars and salty snacks because our body wants immediate energy. It feels like it's nutritionally deprived. It needs some immediate energy, so we end up craving these, and our cycle continues. On top of that, our sleep quality is reduced, so we're not even allowed to recover and reset our body. So what do we need to do to find and get energy without stimulants, and how can we reduce stress? Well, we definitely need to pay attention, to our nutrition. We need to make sure that we're choosing quality, nutrient-dense whole foods. As long as you're looking for quality, whenever you have quality in your foods, then quantity kind of goes out the picture. Your body's getting nutrients from the foods that you're getting, the quality foods that you're getting, and therefore our hunger spikes kind of go down. We're kind of always at this nice and level base. We need to make sure that we're staying hydrated. A lot of times energy is just due to a state of being dehydrated, so we need to make sure we're replenishing our electrolytes and keeping that balance. And we're going to talk about hydration more because it's kind of skewed. The way people are looking at hydration is kind of skewed. And we need to make sure that we're exercising. Yeah, exercise is a physical stress, but a lot of times it allows us to get away from the other stresses that we have, like mental stress and emotional stress. So are we getting enough exercise? But also, are you the type that's overdoing it? Are you overtraining? Are you training too much, too frequently, and not allowing yourself to recover? So are you under recovering? because a lot of things about exercise you need to understand it's a stimulus, and then you need to allow for recovery and rest and adaptation so that you can actually get stronger and get healthier. And then finally is rest. Are we resting? Are we sleeping enough? And rest is also not only just sleep, it's like, are we allowed to just sit back and zen out for a couple of minutes? Are we allowed to be in the state of no mind for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time? Can we not be stimulated by something, checking on our phone or reading something on the internet or multitasking? And so beyond that also, after you've kind of looked into that, because that's the main stuff, then you can start thinking about supplementation. And some of the biggest vitamins, of course, is B5, vitamin B, not just B5, but vitamin B and all the complex of vitamin Bs. Vitamin C is very critical for immune system. And then do more research on vitamin D3 and do some more research on iodine. Those are some of kind of the staples. And then as far as your adrenal glands, look into the ginseng root and look into ashwagandha. Those are two kind of herbs or roots that really help to cleanse and calm your adrenal glands. And we'll talk about that more in the future. But keep those things in mind. No more stimulus, baby, okay? We need to get energy from nutrition. We need to get energy from proper rest and recovery, and so we can live a healthy and whole life. This is Coco, one love. Do good, baby. Like us, love us, share us. Tell everybody about us. Conquering Lion. Nothing but positive vibrations. Peace out, baby.